the countdown will finish, don't bother about it. So, countdowns. Countdowns are basically descending counters. Counters, we have been using counters in everywhere in our daily lifestyle. But the question is, how to create a counter? The simple answer is digital system. But there are a lot of students that ask me how to create a counter using an hardware setup. So, today we met again in your favorite show, University X by your favorite RJ Dave. So, today I'm gonna help you on all the viewers, all the students out there on how to solve your problem of creating counters in hardware setups. So, today we are using Altera bot DE1 to show you on how to create counters in this bot. So, as every week we have invited a guest of honor. So in this week, we have invited an expert coder from University Hogwarts. So let's welcome Mr. Wanan. Hello, Mr. Wanan. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Glad to meet you.
Yeah.
So let's take a seat.
Thank you.
So Mr. Wanan, as I've explained to you before, we are here to help our students on creating a counter in this hardware setup. So
Yeah.
can you help us into this coding and creating a counter?
Yeah, of course. That's an easy thing. And I have gone to several stuff like this before. Furthermore, I already have the coding that you asked me for in my laptop.
Wow, that's fascinating. You have come here very prepared. So are you ready to show us the coding to our viewers,
Yes.
Mr. Wanan?
Let's go see our coding.
So let's see the coding on the screen of the TV. So viewers, you have seen the coding that Mr. Wanan have prepared at your screen of TV. So let's go into the coding.
So for this program we will use quarters 2, and I already saved the program that you are asking for under the name of Muddy. So this program consists of 3 parts. The first part about the counter, the second part about the SAM segment, and the third part about the loop.
I see. This loop must be the delay for the clock, right, Mr. Wanan?
Yes, you are right, Dave.
Yes, I have a very narrow knowledge of programming.
So let me explain you about the programming detailedly. So the first part, I already assigned the input and the output of this programming.
So you have assigned input for clock reset stop, and the output is the count and SS, which I believe for 7 segment, right, Mr. Wanan?
Yes, we use 3-bit for the counter, 7-bit for the SAM segment, and 26-bit for the loop, since we are using 50 MHz looping.
I see. So what about this, Mr. Wanan?
So this will happen only at the positive edge of clock. So if reset on, the counter will go to the 0. If stop on, the counter will stay at the current location of the counter. Or if the loop equal to 50 MHz, the counter will +1 starting from the 0.
So we can see the function of reset stop and the loop button. So how about the 7 segment button, Mr. Wanan?
So like I said before, the counter will go on from 0 to 7. So these numbers represent from A to G. This 7 segment is active flow. So when the 0, the LED will light up, and 1, the LED will off.
So this means when the counter is 0, it will produce A, the counter is 1 and it will produce small a, and so on from A to capital D. Am I right?
Yes.
To small d. Am I right, Mr. Wanan?
So other than this condition, the 7 segment won't display anything.
I see. That's very interesting. So how you use the delay into this programming?
So
Mr. Wanan?
as you can see, this is also happen at the positive edge of clock and positive edge of reset. So if reset on, the loop will 0, or if the loop equal to 50 MHz, the loop will go to 0 too. Otherwise, the loop will +1 until 50 MHz.
I see. Because
Creating the loop.
So you are using 50 megahertz of clock, right, Mr. Wanan?
Yes.
So each loop will take 1/50 megaseconds. So you are looping it into 50 megatime, so that each loop will create 1 second to produce one next state. So every interval will be 1 second. Am I right, Mr. Wanan?
Yes.
I see. That's interesting.
It will create delay. So let me teach you about the compilation. So this is the compilation. So once you go on, the compilation will go on.
I see. So it is compiling. I can see some numbers and some letters running
Yeah,
there.
Dave.
I see.
So the compilation is almost done, Mr. Vanan. That's a very... Yes, it is done.
So every programming must have zero error in order to proceed to the next level. So viewers, let me see the RTL viewer,
So
which
you are
means the circuit of the system.
I see, you are locating it in RTL viewer. Wow, you can see, students, you can also see the schematic of this program. It has some decoders, and it also has some D flip-flop for this program, and it also obviously it has 7 segment display and also the counter that Mr. Vanan has set. So that's a very interesting coding, Mr. Vanan.
Wow, that's a very easy coding, but that's very wonderful for the question, for the very hard question that many students have asking me before. So Mr. Vanan, you have showed me a coding. So I have an Altera board here. Can you show me how to insert the coding into this board?
Leave it to me. I will show you.
So students, you can see the code. Now Mr. Vanan will help us to upload the program into the hardware.
Dave, before you upload the programming to the Altera board, first you must assign the pin. So click the pin planner icon here. Here you can see the pin planner were already assigned according to the Altera DE1 user manual. I have assigned clock to the 50 MHz pin, which is L1, and the counter to the LED pins, and then 7 segment output to the 7 segment pins, as you can see here. Lastly, reset and the stop I have assigned to the toggle pin. Once the pin are assigned, you can compile. Next, click the programming icon to upload the programming. So here you can select the file and you can start the uploading your program once your hardware already connected.
So students, Mr. Vanan have showed you a very brief explanation on how to pin plan the input and output positions, and also how to upload the coding into Altera board. And he was already working on the Altera board to show you a perfect example on the hardware setup. So let's zoom in into Mr. Vanan.
Hi viewers, like they said before, I already uploaded the coding into the Altera board. So let me see the Altera board. Currently, you can see that the looping goes on. So you can see that capital A for 0000, small a for 001, and so on. So these 3 LEDs stand for 3-bit counter. So these LEDs are actually binary numbers, 3-bit binary numbers. Another thing, I already tell you about the 2 toggles button in the programming, which is reset and stop. So let me explain which is the reset and the stop button. So this is the reset toggle button. As soon as I activate this, you can see that the 7 segment goes to reset. When I toggle this back, it will goes on the loop, continues the loop. And the second toggle button is for stop. When I activate this, it will stop at the current counter. So when I toggle this back, it will continue the loop. So that's how the program works on.
That's a very interesting work, Mr. Vanan. I believe our students will understand what you have shown us. But I have a question for you. Just now for our viewers, I have shown them a counter, descending counter, which is the countdown just now. So can you modify this coding to make a descending counter instead of ascending counter, which is from small d to capital A?
Yeah, that's as easy as finger snap. So let me see.
Wow, that's very interesting. Let's see on the TV screen.
So viewers, to modify the coding to the descending counter, you must have to alternate at the counter part. When the reset is on, the counter must go to the 3-bit 111, and instead of plus, you have to minus the count and compile and run as usual. Dave, like I said before, you can see that it's easy as a snap of finger. I already uploaded the coding, so you can see that the loops goes on the descending order.
Wow, Mr. Vanan, that's so fascinating. I'm really thankful that you came here today to help our students. I believe our students will understand better on how to work on this coding and upload it on this hardware setup. So thanks for coming, Mr. Vanan.
Thank you, Dave.
Alright. So students, I've shown you on how to upload counters on hardware program. So let's meet you on next week on the same TV show, which is University X by your favorite RJ Dave.